Welcome to Dynamics AX video tutorials. I'm Jeevan Anthony Louis and I'm taking you through AX2012 production module. In this tutorial, we will be looking at how to create a simple route. This tutorial consists of creating and setting up resources, route groups, creating operations, cost category setups, cost group association, creating route, finished good price calculation, costing sheet setup, approve and activate route, create route versions, BOM and route relation. So here in the FG price calculation, we will see a continuation of what we had seen in BOM calculation, which includes the labor costs apart from the material cost. So continuing with the example of a pen, the route would consist of three operations. One is the threading operation, second is the rear assembly operation, which includes of the pen rear assembly, pen body B, pen clip, and the final assembly, which includes the assembly of all the parts. Now let's look into how to start off. To create a route, we have to first start with the creation of resource. To create a resource, go to Organization Administration, Resources, click New, give it a name. Let's name it as pen threading. The type suggests what type of resource is this. When it is vendor, it means it is being subcontracted. We will look into it when we are doing subcontracting processes. Human resource, to say that a particular skill set or a particular employee is used to carry out this process. Machine is used when a particular machine is used to carry out this process, such as in our case of pen, it would be threading. Human resource and machine can go hand in hand by creating parallel resources, which we look in complex routes, where you can assign an employee carrying out the threading in a threading machine, where you can track both the times of the employee as well as the machine. A tool can also be in synchronization with human resource, machine and tool. And the last part is the location. A location type resource is selected when the location would act as a constraint for the plant's capacity. For example, the pen after being painted is kept for drying, and the area for drying is a particular room where the rate of drying also depends on the rate of pen production. Hence, the room could be suggested as a resource. For the time being, let's go with machine. Here, the scheduling section, we will look into it when we are doing master planning and production scheduling. Similarly with capacity. In the operation section, the values entered here would default on the operation selected in a route if this resource is associated to that operation. We will look into it when we are doing the route operations. The ledger fast tab suggests the default accounts required for posting. This depends on the type of posting selected on a production order. We will look into it when we are doing the production order execution. But for the time being, let us enter the WIP accounts, same as the ones existing in the standard created. Now we have set up the ledger accounts. Financial dimensions are optional. They will flow from the production order header. The capabilities is a new feature in AX2012, wherein the selection of resources can be done based on the capabilities entered here. We will look into it when we are doing complex routes. And the resource group. So let us create a new resource group. Right click, view detail, create new. Let's say pen site 1. Once the resource group is created, the value set in the resource group would default on the resources associated to the resource group. And there's a new section here called work cell capacity. This is with respect to lean manufacturing, that is Kanban. We will look into Kanban in the Kanban section of production tutorial. Coming back to the resource, let's select the resource group. Now a calendar should be associated. let's select standard calendar. Similarly, create the other resources. Once we have created all the three resources, ensure that the resources are associated to the resource group and the ledger setups are done. Now as you can see, I have created three resources: pen thread, pen assembly, rear assembly, and pen final assembly, similar to the way we have created the pen thread resource. This completes the resource creation and the resource group creation. Moving to the route groups. To create a route group, go to production, go to setup, go to routes, route groups. In route groups, let's create a new route group, pen, and we are going to only calculate runtime. We can set up the automatic route consumption here, which we will notice how it affects during the production order execution. And here we will select only the process. We will look at how the overlap, transport, queue, and setup are affected in complex routes. And also we will select report operation as finished, and we will notice how this will affect in our production order execution. This completes the route group setup. Next is to create a category. To create a category, first we have to create a category in the shared categories. Create new. Let's create the first category, pen threading, and we say can be used in production. Click new again. Similarly, create for rear assembly and final assembly separate cost categories. As you have noticed, I have created the categories. Now go to cost categories, create new. Here we select our category, pen threading, and we need to associate a cost group to this pen threading. So for the time being, we will select manufacturing. For cost groups creation, refer to the BOM setup tutorial. So as you notice, I have created all the three cost categories and associated a cost group with the same. Now let's give a price for each of this. As you have already created cost version, that is pen, let's select the same, give it a price. Similarly, create a price for the other cost categories. Once you have set up the prices for each of the cost categories, we now move into the route creation. To create a route for a finished good, go to product information, release products. Let's go to the ballpoint pen that we have created. Click on engineering, route, click on create route, enter the description. To create the operations for a particular route, click on the section below and click new. Now here we have to select the operation. So to define a new operation, right click, go to view details, click new. Let's say so if you notice, we have created three operations: pen threading, pen rear assembly, pen final assembly. Now coming back to the route, select the operation, pen threading first, with the operation number 10, with the runtime of 1 hour. The route group, we will select the one we have created, pen. Go to the setup tab, select the runtime category. Let's select the category that we have created, pen threading. Time we have already mentioned. In the resource requirement, click new. The requirement, we select pen threading, click no, and allow this resource selection for operation and job scheduling. Similarly, now we create the next operation. Give the runtime as 1 again, select pen, but here we would enter the next operation as 20. We go to the setup tab, select the cost category. In the resource requirement, we will select rear assembly, click no, operation scheduling, and create the final operation, final assembly, runtime 2 hours, say it's pen. Setup, we select the category, and in the resource we select the assembly, and here we enter the operation as next operation as 30. So when we do not enter an operation, it suggests that it is a final operation. You can select on update route. It will check for any errors in the route, approve the route, and activate the same. Once the route is activated, we have a route created for a production order. So this is a creation of a simple route. Now let's create a new version. To create a new route version, click on create route, select copy, click on the site, enter click OK. So to copy, it says copy from which route, so we select the same 72 route here to our new route and we click OK. So we have the same route replicated, and let's say this route is specifically for color red, and we can have a change in time just to suggest a different version. You can approve and activate the same. To demonstrate the activation of BOM versions, I have set up an example here. Let's take a new route version. Now this particular route version here suggests that it is activated from 1st of July to 7th of July. So if I select anything between that, let's say 3rd to 9th, and click on activate, AX says the date interval overlaps. Similarly, if I select red, you'll notice that red here in the previous section is activated for a date range. Since we have not entered, it is activated throughout. And now if we try to activate the next version with the same color, it would say it is overlapping for the date range. So this wraps up the BOM version. Now moving to FG calculation, let's see how the route affects the finished good price calculation. Go to the ballpoint pen, manage cost, item price. If you notice, the last time in the item price, the price calculation did not include any operation cost. Now when the calculation is run again, you will notice that the route number is populated automatically. Click on OK. There's an error message for the lab overhead, which we'll look at costing sheet. Now if you notice that the price, the sales and cost price is changed. Sales price is a 20% markup profit for the cost, as we had seen in the cost group profit setting setup in BOM tutorial. Now let's look at the cost price breakup. Go to complete, and you will notice that the pen thread, rear assembly and final assembly have been added here into the cost. Now the lab overhead, we will set it up in the costing sheet. To do so, let's go to the costing sheet setup, go to inventory and warehouse management, costing sheets. In the costing sheets, we have noticed that manufacturing is already existing here, so we do not have to add. And for the labor overhead, we go to calculation, come to the rate section, and if you notice here, this particular node is of type rate, so we add pen for a particular site, and let's say labor overhead is 10 USD per hour, and click on activate, save. Close. Now going back to the BOM calculation, if you notice, last time we had 217 and 197, so we are going to run the calculation again. This time you notice that there is no error message, and the price is 257 and 237. And if you look into the breakup, you will notice that we have a selling price for the items as the markup of 20%, whereas for the operations we have not given a markup profit percentage for the selling price. This can be set up in the cost groups, which we have seen already in the BOM tutorial, and the labor overhead and the plant overhead. We had mentioned the labor overhead as 10 USD per hour and into 4 hours, which gives us 40 USD. Hence the total of 257 for sales price and 237 for cost price. The last bit is the relationship between the BOM and the route. Going to the BOM lines, in the BOM lines, you notice that each item can be associated to a resource consumption and an operation. So let's take pen body A, which is linked to an operation, pen thread, and resource consumption. When activated, the warehouse populated in the picking list or in the prod BOM during production order execution is populated from the resource and not from the BOM line. Similarly, as we had seen in the initial diagram, that pen body B, the clip and the rear assembly are part of the rear assembly operation, and the other items, that is the pen spring, pen steel ring and pen rifle, are going to be consumed in the final assembly. So what is the significance of associating a raw material or the BOM lines with an operation is that this suggests that when the operation posting is being done in a production order, BOM lines can be consumed automatically. We will look at this when we are doing the production order execution. So this winds up the creation of a simple route. Thank you.